The August 2020 Visa Bulletin is out. The Visa Bulletin shows you which green card applications are eligible to move forward based on when you filed your I-130 or I-140 petition. That date is your priority date. Before we get into the Visa Bulletin, I want to provide two updates that will impact many of you. The first is for those of you outside the United States. For more updates like this, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video. The State Department recently announced that beginning July 15, embassies and consulates abroad could begin visa services in a phased manner depending on local conditions. They will likely start with rescheduling people whose interviews got canceled in March and April. I've heard from several attorneys that their clients are starting to get scheduled and rescheduled around the world. However, if you remember, back in April, Trump had issued a proclamation which put a 60-day ban on immigrant visas for foreign nationals outside the U.S. with some exceptions. That ban has now been extended to December 31st of 2020. Spouses and children of U.S. citizens and EB5 visa applicants are still exempt, so their visa appointments should start getting scheduled and rescheduled as embassies reopen. There are more exceptions to this ban, and you can go back to this video to get the specifics, but the bottom line is that unless your category is listed as an exception in the proclamation, you will not be able to enter the U.S. in 2020. This is bad news for spouses of green card holders, DV lottery winners, and siblings of U.S. citizens that are outside the U.S. waiting for an immigrant visa appointment. The second thing to be aware of is that the USCIS is in big financial trouble and has sent furlough notices to 13,400 of its employees. If it doesn't receive emergency funding in the next 2 weeks, these employees will be furloughed starting August 3rd. Without most of its staff, processing delays are bound to get worse, so for those of you that anticipate filing an adjustment of status application soon, this could be a big problem. However, we still have 2 more weeks to see what happens with this emergency funding request. Okay, so let's dive into the Visa Bulletin now. As usual, I will start with the final action dates in the family category. Quick reminder, the USCIS lets you know every month which set of dates it wants you to use for filing adjustment of status applications, the dates for filing chart, or the final action dates. Adjustment of status applications are for people in the U.S. that have an approved I-130 or I-140, and sometimes they're filed together. This month, they haven't shared which set of dates to use for filing, but this is usually updated within a few days of the bulletin's release. Okay, so let's get into the final action dates for family categories. The F2A category, which is for green card holders sponsoring their spouses, is still current and has been for a year now, which is incredible. The Philippines continues to move forward again this month, advancing 3 months in several family categories. In the F1 category, which is for unmarried sons and daughters of U.S. citizens, we see 5 weeks of forward movement for most countries, which isn't a whole lot. In the F2B and F3 categories, you see between 3 and 5 weeks of forward movement across most countries. The F4 category, which is for siblings of adult U.S. citizens, has barely moved, just 2 weeks forward for most countries. Now, let's move on to the employment categories. In the last 2 months, the EB3 category has moved forward quite a bit. This month, it again moves forward by almost 1 year. Even EB3 China moved forward 8 months and EB3 India by 4 months. India and China see some solid movement in EB1, 9 months forward for India and 6 months forward for China. All other countries remain current. The EB2 category remains largely unchanged with just a couple months forward for China. In the EB5 category, all countries except Vietnam and China remain current. If you have any other questions about how to read the Visa Bulletin, leave me a comment. If you found today's video helpful, hit the like button below, subscribe to our channel, and share this with anyone who might find it helpful. I'll see you in the next video.